All right, so good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday, VLA family. How are you?
Morning.
Awesome. Good morning, good morning. Okay, so we are going to start. I'm so excited to be joining you today for our Black History Month Friday assembly. We know that the middle school team has something really special for us, and so I'm so excited to see what it is and to hear the awesome student performances. And as always, each day, every day, celebrating Black excellence, Black history, Black people. And so, you know, I love being Black. I hope you do too if you are Black. And if you are not Black, I hope you love being you and the skin that you're in as well. So before we get officially started, we are going to kick off with our student affirmation. So normally, right, under regular conditions, but this is our new normal, but under, you know, and historically, we meet together in our large multi-purpose room, and the students recite this affirmation, and it's a call and response, and the energy gets raised. And so because we can't have all the students unmic themselves, what we will do is have our teachers unmic themselves, and maybe the students who are joining us for the assembly today on the Zoom call, you all can unmic yourselves as well. And actually, well, I don't want to put anybody on the spot. I'll go ahead and kick it off, but we're going to do a call and response. Sound good? So teachers, if you can unmic yourself, sound good?
Yay-bo.
Right.
Yay-bo.
So call and response. So I'm looking for everybody to be unmiked so you can kind of give it back to me. So on the count of Ja-Lay 2, I am young, strong, and proud.
I am young, strong, and proud.
I love myself, my family, and my community.
I love myself,
my family, and my community.
I can do anything I set my mind to.
I can do anything I set my mind
to.
Because I come from a great legacy of men and women.
Because I come from a
great legacy of men and women.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
Together, together, together.
Together.
Puede, se puede, se puede.
Se puede.
Harambe, harambe, harambe.
Harambe.
Okay, awesome. I can see from some of the students, when we get back, we're gonna have to practice our harambes a bit. I don't know what I was seeing, but we need to have a strong harambe. So without further ado, then I am going to turn this assembly over to Dr. Wadier, Mr. Hobson, and Mrs. Parker. And then also I realized I did not introduce myself. For those joining today, in case you don't know who I am Miss Harris. I am your school principal. So, you know, not just the weird lady talking. And so again, I will just go ahead and turn it over to the middle school team. Let's make sure we're giving them some positive energy, all the love.
All right. Here we go. All right, good morning, everybody.
The top right for present.
Oh,
all the way to the right. Down, right there.
Yep, okay. All right, good morning. Black Words Matter. Black Words Matter is the theme for our poetry presentation this morning. Before we go ahead and students, I want to thank the administrative team for seeing that it is indeed important for us to have an assembly of this nature as we celebrate Black History Month throughout our country. Secondly, I want to thank the middle school team who have tirelessly worked to bring this assembly into fruition. And then thirdly, I want to thank the student volunteers who willingly, for the most part, accepted the invitation to take on the task of coming forward to recite these poems to you today. So I would be remiss if I do not give a little background of why this is important and also of Black History Month itself. we cannot talk about Black History Month without talking about the great Carter G. Woodson, who in the 1930s decided that it was important to have a week of celebration of African Americans who were then known as Negroes. So Carter G. Woodson, the great, decided that he was going to begin what was known as Negro History Week. So Negro History Week took off and it was celebrated across the country until in 1976, the US government decided that it was indeed important for that celebration to be expanded and celebrated across the country. So in 1976, the government took it on and made it Black History Month instead of Negro History Week. And it has been a staple of our celebrations here in the United States since that time. However, as students here at VLA, majority of who are African Americans, it would also not be appropriate if we do not do anything to honor those who came before us, to honor ourselves who are here today, and to honor the unborn generations who also will be taking over from us with a celebration. So today we're saying that Black words matter. We're taking this theme, right? And the Black words that we're going to be sharing with you today are not just from recent times. We do have a wide span of poetry coming from the greatest African American poets. We have poems for you from the 1800s all the way to contemporary times. So we're excited. We're excited to share this with you. And without further ado, we are going to begin our Black Words Matter with our first poem from sixth grade class and from Gwendolyn Brooks. Before I invite Ethan, I want to give a little introduction to who Gwendolyn Brooks is. Gwendolyn Brooks is a highly regarded, influential, and widely read poet of this century and also of the century before, 20th century American poetry. She was the first Black poet to win a Pulitzer Prize. So I know you all know about the Grammys, right? Grammys go with music. Just as Grammys go with music, for poetry, there is also a prize, just like the Grammys known as the Pulitzer. And Gwendolyn Brooks was the first Black person to win that Pulitzer Prize. We're going to talk a little bit more about her down the line, but I'm going to invite Ethan. But before I do so, Mr. Hobson, is there anything you would like to share before we begin?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Dr. Wadier. I really appreciate your powerful introduction and explanation for Black History Month and its origins and its use today. We are so excited, students, for you to hear from your peers this morning, and we want you to sit back, relax, and just enjoy and drink in the words with your ears. Drink in the words with your ears. All right, Mr. Dr. Wadier, we're ready to roll.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ethan Gomez is going to be the first person to read this poem. Take it away, Ethan.
Okay. The poem I'll be reading today is called We Real Cool by Gwendolyn Brooks. We real cool, we left school, we lurk late, we strike straight, we sing sin, we thin gin, we jazz June, we die soon.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Ethan. I know you cool. I know we're all cool and indeed real cool. All right. The next poem is going to be read by Randy Thomas, and this poem is by Maya Angelou, one of our greatest poets. Maya Angelou was, as already said, a poet. She was a memoirist, which means somebody who writes memoirs. She was a civil rights activist. She hails from St. Louis, Missouri, she received many, many awards, and she received more than 50, let me say that again, more than 50 honorary degrees. She wrote several books, several plays, and she wrote 3 books of essays. Wonderful, wonderful lady. We are so excited to have Randy read one of her phenomenal poems. Now, that all pun intended, if you understand what I mean. Mr. Hobson, is there anything you'd like to throw in?
Yes, Maya Angelou is known as the oracle of the Black community. And so we just appreciate all of the wisdom, all of the energy, and all of the love she's given to generations and generations of Black entertainers, Black leaders, and Black scholars. All
Also,
right,
sorry.
we're ready, Doc.
Okay. So without further ado, I invite Randy to take it away.
The poem I will be reading today is called Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides. Just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I got gold mines, digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from the past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's roundishly clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Indeed, we all rise. Thank you, Randy. And thank you for those who've read so far. I think it is important that you all are reading very clearly and slowly so that we can take in the words, right? We want to, as Mr. Hobson said, we want to drink with our ears. So we're going to take our time, sound each word out so that everybody can hear. Now, next in line is Naomi Beatty. She's going to be reading for us a poem by the great Langston Hughes. If you do not know who Langston Hughes was a poet, as you can imagine, a social activist. He also wrote many novels, so he was a novelist. He was a playwright. He wrote many, many plays, and he also was a columnist. He wrote editorials in the newspapers. Um, he is from Joplin, Missouri, and is best known as one of the leaders of the Harlem Renaissance. So middle schoolers, I know you're very familiar with Langston Hughes, as he was a feature in your Harlem Renaissance unit that you did. So that is by way of a little introduction. Mr. Hobson, is there anything you'd like to throw in here, please, sir?
Hey, you covered it. We all love Langston Hughes. He's a legend, and he's huge in the canon of poetry.
Absolutely. So here we bring in Naomi. Naomi, take it away.
Hi, my name is Naomi, and I'm going to be reading Mother to Son by Langston Hughes.
You gotta bring it louder, bring that vibe.
Okay. Well, son, I'll tell you. Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time, I's been a climbing on, and reaching landings and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn your back. Don't you sit down on them steps, 'cause you find it kinda hard. Don't you fall now, for I still going, honey. I still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Life for us as a people has certainly not been no crystal stair. Mother to son from Langston Hughes, read to us this morning by Naomi. Next, we're gonna have somebody, one of the great, I would say, a person who is known as one of the greatest rappers of all time. But what you do not know is that he also wrote poetry. His name is Nasir Oludara Jones, popularly known in rap circles as Nas. So I'm going to bring on Joshua, who is going to be reading this poem by Nasir Jones. Nasir is a rapper, a songwriter, and entrepreneur. He, as I said, he's regarded as one of the greatest rappers of all time. He hails from New York, and we're ready for Joshua in a minute. Mr. Hobson.
Nasir Jones is the son of the great jazz musician Oludara Jones. And so he grew up in the world of music and poetry. It's in his DNA. Back to you, Doc.
All right, Joshua, take it away.
Okay. So first, I want to say this has a lot of powerful messages in it. From when I've been reading it and practicing with it, this has a lot of powerful messages in it. So, before we came to this country, we were kings and queens, never porch monkeys. There was empires in Africa called Kush, Timbuktu, where every race came to get books, to learn from black teachers who taught Greeks and Romans, Asian, Arabs, and gave them gold. When gold was converted to money, it all changed. Money then became the empowerment for Europeans. The Pearson military invaded. They heard about the gold, the teaching, and everything sacred. Africa was almost robbed naked. Slavery was money, so they began making slave ships. Egypt was the place that Alexander the Great went. He was so shocked at the mountains with black faces, shot up the nose to impose what basically still goes on today, you see? If the truth is told, the youth can grow. They'll learn to survive until they gain control. Read more, learn more, change the globe. Ghetto children, do your thing. Hold up your head, little man, you're the king. Young princesses, when you get your wedding ring, your man is saying, she's my queen. I know I can be what I want to be. If I work at it, I'll get where I want to be.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are going to bring. Oh, sorry. Hold on, hold on, hold on. We are going to bring on Cyrus in a moment. And Zari is also going to read for us a poem by the great Langston Hughes. But students, I want to remind you, as poets, we want to see you. We want to see your beautiful faces. We want to imbibe your beautiful expressions. So please, we have a lot of ceilings here. We don't want to see anybody's ceilings. We want to see your face. Long time no see. So please make sure your faces are in the cameras. Now we're going to bring on Zari, who is going to read for us a poem by Langston Hughes entitled My People. Zari, take it away.
Okay. The night is beautiful, so are the faces of my people. The stars are beautiful, so are the eyes of my people. Beautiful also is the sun. Beautiful also are the souls of my people.
Awesome. So, if you are enjoying yourself so far, if you're appreciating what our students are bringing, let's give some snaps, some snaps to show those who've read already some appreciation. We're going to be moving forward. Um, yes, some snaps. Now, You did not know that Mr. Hobson, the great Mr. Hobson, is on the bill, and he's going to read you a poem. Can you see? Can you see the pride in the panther? Now, the panther has been a dominant feature of our cultural expression for a very long time. We think about the Black Panthers, we think about the movie Black Panther. But did you know that Tupac, the great rapper, also connected pride and the panther? Mr. Hobson is going to do justice to that. Mr. Hobson, please take it away.
All right, another great hip hop artist who has poetry in his blood. He actually has a collection of poems called The Roads That Grew from Concrete. I encourage you to go and rent that from the library or download it on audiobooks. Can you see the pride in the panther? Can you see the pride in the panther as he grows with splendor and grace, toppling the obstacles placed in the way of the progression of his race? Can you see the pride in the panther as she nurtures her young all alone? The seed must grow regardless of the fact that it's been planted in stone. Can you see the pride in the panther as they unify as one? The flower blooms filled with brilliance and outshines all the rays of the sun. Shines out like a new day begun. Shines out like the rays of the sun. Pride in the panther.
Wow, was that Tupac himself reading, or was that Mr. Hobson? That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mr. Hobson. Tupac, as you know, poetic and just impeccable delivery. So we're gonna move ahead and have some of our seventh graders come in. Shout out to our sixth graders who have taken the lead. And our seventh graders, we're gonna begin with a poet, NIKKI Giovanni. NIKKI Giovanni is considered to be one of America's foremost poets. She's also a writer, she's a commentator, she's an activist, and she's also an educator. She's won many, many awards, including the NAACP Image Awards. She has also been awarded with a Martin Luther King Award for Literature. She hails from Ohio, and she is currently a professor at Virginia Tech University. So we're going to bring on Adriana Baptiste to read a poem by NIKKI Giovanni. But before we do that, Mr. Hobson, if there's any word you would like to share with us.
Just that I want to reinforce that NIKKI Giovanni has written over 3,000 poems in her career. And so she's a career poet. This is what she does. It is in her blood.
Absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Adriana, I know you're always ready. Take it away.
Do what I want to do, then my job is to not do what I don't want to do. It's not the same thing, but it's the best I can do. If I can't have what I want, then my job is to want what I've satisfied that at least there is something more to want. Since I can't go where I need to go, then I must go where the signs point, though always understanding parallel movement isn't lateral. When I can't express what I really feel, I practice feeling what I can express. None of it is equal, I know, but that's why mankind alone among the animals learns to cry.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So NIKKI Giovanni is reminding us about choices, the choices that we make. We always have signs that point us to which choice we should be making. Are we making the right choice or the wrong choice? We have signs that point us to the right direction. If you choose the wrong direction, then you cannot blame the fact that you had a sign, you had a signal, but you chose not to follow it. Students, please, if you're on here, make sure that you have muted yourselves unless you are reading a poem. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Adriana. Nice job. Appreciate it. We're gonna move on. Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey. Jamaican political activist, publisher, journalist, writer, poet, and entrepreneur. Now, have you heard of any black man in this contemporary times who owns ships? Now, I'm not talking about like the boats that you see on Lakeshore Drive. I'm talking about ships that cart people, that cart goods from country to country. Marcus Garvey in the 1920s and 1930s owned a fleet of ships that he was using to do business, to help to ameliorate the conditions that Black people face here in the United States. There are many things I'm going to share with you about Marcus Garvey, but Marcus Garvey is one of our greatest ancestors. And we are very honored that we are sharing here with you today some of his poems. Marcus Garvey was also a prolific poet. And I'm glad to bring on Johnny Robinson, who's going to be reading for us The Black Mother by Marcus Garvey. But before I do that, I'm going to bring on Mr. Hobson, who is going to share something with us. All right, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Marcus Garvey, as Dr. Wadier shared, one of our most prolific Black leaders, he was so profound and had such an impact that Marcus Garvey led the largest organization known to African Americans in the history of our presence here in the United States of America. He had 1 million followers, 1 million followers. So he was a million strong, y'all, a million strong. Dr. Wadier, back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you sharing. And now we bring on a Johnny Robinson, who's going to read for us The Black Mother.
All right. Where can I find love that never changes? Smiles that are true and always just the same. Caring not how the fierce tempest rages, willing ever to shield my honor name. This I find at home only with mother, who cares for me with patient tenderness. She from every human pain would rather save me and drink the dregs of bitterness. If on life's way I happen to flounder, my true thought should be of dear mother. She is the rock that near rifts asunder, the cry of her child, be it far or near. This is love wonderful beyond compare. It is God's choicest gift to mortal man. You know, you who know mother in this thought must share, for she of all is angel of your clan. My mother is black, loveliest of all. Yes, she is pure as the new made morn. Her song of glee is a clear rhythmic call to these arms of love to which I was born. I shall never forget you, sweet mother. Where in my life I may happen to roam, thou shalt always be the fair, thou shalt always be the fairy charmer to turn my dearest thoughts to things at home.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Johnny, for reading to us Black Mother by Marcus Garvey. Our sweetest mothers are always in our hearts. Well, if you, those of you, shout out to all the Black mothers. Everybody, let's shout out to the Black Mother internationally. In the United States, Caribbean, everywhere, worldwide, shout out to the Black mothers. Okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to move ahead and bring on, wait a minute, I think I'm jumping ahead here. I'm missing something. Hold on. Okay, I'm not missing anything. I'm just thinking too much. So we're gonna bring on, again, a poem by Gwendolyn Brooks. Gwendolyn Brooks is from Chicago. She's right here. She lived in Chicago. She went to school in Chicago, and she is from the South Side. And she, when she was a young lady, her mother told her that, you know, you are going to be the Lady Paul Laurence Dunbar. And we're gonna see and hear some of the poetry of Paul Laurence Dunbar down the line. But indeed, Gwendolyn Brooks rose to become the Lady Paul Laurence Dunbar. And as I mentioned earlier, she was the first Black person to win the Pulitzer Prize, which is the equivalent of the Grammy in the poetry world. So we're going to bring on Madison Smith, who's going to read for us a poem by Gwendolyn Brooks, entitled Primer for Blacks. Over to you, Mr. Hobson.
Nothing to add there, just that we're excited to hear from Madison.
Madison, take it away.
Primer for Blacks by Gwendolyn Brooks. Blackness is a title, is a preoccupation, is a commitment. Blacks are to be comprehended, and are in which you are to perceive your glory. The conscious shout of all that is white is it's great to be white. The conscious shout of the slackened black is it's great to be white. Thus all that is white has white strength in yours. The word black has geographic power, pulls everybody in, black here, black there, black wherever they may be. And remember, you blacks, what they told you, remember your education. One drop, one drop. Maketh a brand new black. Oh, mighty drop. And because they have given us kindly so many more of our people. Blackness stretches over the land. Blackness, the black of it, the rust red of it, the milk and cream of it, the tan and yellow tan of it, the deep brown, middle brown, high brown of it, the olive and the ochre of it. Blackness marches on. The huge, the pungent object of our prime outright is to comprehend. The salutes and to love the fact that we are black, which is our ultimate reality, which is the long ground from which our meaningful metamorphoses, from which our prosperous staccato group of our individual can rise. Self-dribble blacks begin with gaunts and marvelous concession. You are the costume and are the fundamental bone. All of you. You colored ones, you Negro ones, those of you who proudly cry, I'm half Indian. Those of you who proudly screech, I've got the blood of George Washington in my veins. All of you. You proper blacks, you half blacks, you wish I weren't blacks.
Awesome, 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 awesome job. Madison, thank you, thank you, thank you. Primer for Blacks, indeed. Gwendolyn Brooks went in. She went in. She dissected the whole situation. She made it bare, and it perfectly delivered by Madison. We're going to continue, and we're going to bring on Marcus Garvey again. And you know, as I kind of stopped calling on the name of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was the founder of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Marcus Garvey was born in Jamaica. He came to the United States in the second decade of the 20th century. That's around 1918. He had 8 million followers, members of the United Negro Improvement Association worldwide. Now, through the UNIA came the Black Cross nurses. So the Black Cross nurses are like the women's wing of the UNIA, but they are even a little more than that. The Black Cross nurses makes it a point to provide free help to communities of Africans in distress around the world. So even here in the United States, when the Katrina disaster struck, the first on the scene was the Black Cross nurses. They were the first in Louisiana to administer the much needed aid to our people down there way before the government even came in. So shout out to the Black Cross nurses. Shout out to the Honorable Marcus Garvey. We're gonna bring on Sincere Dawson, who's gonna read for us a poem entitled Have Faith in Self. Mr. Hobson.
Of course, we have to mention that Marcus Garvey led the Back to Africa movement, and he envisioned that his star line, the Black Star Line, his ship line, would be the cruisers to take Africans back to Africa.
Absolutely, absolutely. He said, where is the black man's government? And he said, I am going to help to establish that. So thank you, Marcus Garvey. Thank you, Mr. Hobson. Sincere, take it away.
All right. I was gonna say some facts about him, but Rick said everything. So I'm gonna start. Marcus Garvey, have faith in yourself is the poem. All right.
Today, I made myself in life anew by going to that royal fount of truth and searching for the secret of the few, whose golden life and aim and joy forsooth. I found at last the friend and counselor that taught me all that in life I should know. It is the soul, the servant chancellor, the guide and keeper of the good you sow. And advise, go ye, have faith in yourself, and seek once more the God that lives in you. Much better than a world of sordid health. Alas, I found the counsel to be true. Aha, I know right now that I shall see the good in life and be a better man. I will by thought and deed pull all to me in saving others. Yeah, everyone. Go down and search yourself a while in part and tell me all of what you see and hear. Isn't there something pulling at your heart? Tell me the truth and have ye then no fear. There is a voice that speaks to man within. It is the soul that longs for you to know. There is no need for you to grope in sin, for your truth and light may ever grow.
Thank you, sincere. And we're going to take that admonishment that comes from Marcus Garvey. We need to have faith in ourselves. And thank you, sincere, for reading that. Now, we did promise you that we're giving you a wide span of poetry from a wide span of epochs. And we've seen poems from the 1920s. We've seen poems from contemporary times. And now we're going to take you to Alice Walker, who is also a contemporary poet, and Mrs. Parker is going to read for us Desire by Alice Walker.
Good morning, VLA. Alice Walker was a novelist. She was a short story writer, a poet, and a social activist throughout the civil rights movement. She's also one who coined the term womanist. And one thing that I really appreciate about her is the fact that her stories, her poetry, her books give voice to women of color. She is also a Pulitzer Prize winner for her work, her book, The Color Purple, which was also made into a movie. And not only that, but she won the National Book Award for the same book. And I am going to read for you guys today a poem that really kind of pricks my heart a little bit, and it's called Desire. My desire is always the same. Wherever life deposits me, I want to stick my toe and swim my whole body into the water. I want to shake out a fat broom and sweep dried leaves, bruised blossoms, dead insects, and dust. I want to grow something. It seems impossible that desire can sometimes transform into emotion, but it has happened. And that is how I've survived, how the whole I carefully tended in the garden of my heart grew a heart to fill it. Desire.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Desire by Alice Walker, excellently delivered by our own Mrs. Parker. Thank you, Mrs. Parker. We appreciate that. We're gonna move ahead and we're gonna bring on our eighth graders. It's a mix kind of, but we're just gonna say eighth graders. And we're gonna go way back into the 1800s and bring you one of the greatest poets of our community, Paul Laurence Dunbar. And we're going to bring on Zahir to read Ships That Pass in the Night. But before we do that, I want to say Paul Laurence Dunbar was, as you may have guessed, a poet, but he was also a novelist. He wrote many books. He wrote many short stories. He was from Ohio. His parents were actually enslaved in Kentucky before the American Civil War. He began writing stories as a child, and he grew up to become one of our greatest poets ever. So we're going to bring in Zahir to read ships that pass in the night. But before we do that, Mr. Hobson, if there's something you'd like to throw in, please do so.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people don't know this small little fact, but Paul Lawrence Dunbar went to an integrated school, and his peers were Orville and Wilbur Wright, the first men to fly an airplane in America. And his mother is the one who made the canvas that they used to make sure that their plane could fly. So Paul Lawrence Dunbar is a part of American history.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Mr. Hobson. So we're gonna bring on Zahir. Take it away.
I'm going to be reading Paul Lawrence Dunbar, Ships That Passed in the Night. Out in the sky, the great dark clouds are massing. I look far out into the pregnant night, where I can hear a solemn booming gun and catch the gleaming of a random light that tells me the ship I seek is passing, passing. My tearful eyes, my soul's deep hurt are glassing, for I would hail and check that ships of ships. I stretch my hand imploring, crying out loud. My voice falls dead a foot from mine own lips, and but its ghost doth reach that vessel, passing and passing. O earth, O sky, O ocean, both surpassing. O heart of mine, O soul that dreads in the dark. Is there no hope for me? Is there no way that I may sight and check that speeding bark, which out of sight and sound is passing, passing?
Awesome, 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 Zahir. Thank you so much. Paul Lawrence Dunbar was just phenomenal, and he made his mark. We're gonna move on to Sonia Sanchez, and the poem by Sonia Sanchez is gonna be read to us by Jasmine Johnson. But before we bring in Jasmine, we want to give a little introduction to Sonia Sanchez, who is one of our greatest poets. He is a writer. She's also a professor. She's one of the leading figures of the Black arts movement. She has written over 16 books on poetry. She has written many short stories. She has written many critical essays, and she has also written many plays and children's books. She has won many awards, the Robert Frost Medal, the Wallace Stevens Award, the American Book Award, the Langston Hughes Poetry Award. She is a professor currently, and she continues to be a prolific writer. She mentioned that she is coming up with a new book this April. So those of us who are interested in contemporary writings of Sonia Sanchez, do make it a point to check out her new book when she releases it in April. We're going to bring on Jasmine, but before we do that, Mr. Hobson, over to you.
I think you covered it all, Dr. Wadier. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward for Emmett Lewis Till by Jasmine Johnson. Jasmine, take it away.
For Emmett Lewis Till, your limbs buried in northern muscle carry their own heartbeat. Mississippi alerted with conjugated pain. Young Chicago stutter whistling more than flesh. Your pores, wild stars embracing southern eyes. Footprints blooming in the night, remember your blood. In the southern classroom, summer settles into winter. I hear your pulse swallowing neglected light. Your limbs fly off the ground, little birds. We taste the blood ritual of southern hands. Blue midnight, breaths sailing on smiling tongues. Say no words, time is collapsing in the woods. A mother's eyes remembering a cradle, pray out loud. Walking in Mississippi, I hold the stars between my teeth. Your death, a blues I cannot drink away.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sonia Sanchez, writing a poem for Emmett Lewis Till. Those of you who do not know Emmett Till, is a young man who was brutally murdered in the 1960s, if I'm not mistaken, and that actually, gave momentum to the civil rights movement because his murder was so gruesome that it brought the issue of civil rights to the fore in the American polity. So we're going to move ahead, and we're going to bring on Emilio Canelo, who's going to be reading for us a poem by Margaret Burroughs. Margaret Burroughs is one of Chicago's own. She was a visual artist. She was a writer. She was a poet, and she was an educator. I want to point out here, young people, that you may notice that all these people we're calling on were not only one thing, or are not only one thing, right? Don't be limited to being defined by only one thing. We can do many things. We don't have to be one thing, right? So Margaret Burroughs was such a person. She was also an arts organizer. But most importantly, what you may not have known about Margaret Burroughs is that she was the co-founder of the DuSable Museum, the oldest African-American museum in the United States. She's right here from Chicago. And she is also one of the founders of the Southside Community Arts Center. So we're gonna bring on Emilio to read for us, What Shall I Tell My Children Who Are Black? But before we do that, I'm gonna hand it over to Mr. Hobson.
You know, Dr. Wadier, I had an opportunity to meet Margaret Burroughs. She was such a kind, sweet, loving woman. And she was just so full of history. And she knew our heritage very well, like the back of her hands. So she had been curating Black history and Black heritage for more decades than I've been alive. So we want to honor Margaret Burroughs, and we look forward to Emilio's presentation.
Absolutely, and I know Emilio is looking for it as well. Emilio, take it away.
I tell my children who are Black. She's an African-American mother. What should I tell my children who are Black of what it means to be captive in this dark skin? What should I tell my dear one, fruit of my womb, of how beautiful they are everywhere they turn their face with abhorrence at everything that is Black? Villains are Black with Black hearts. A Black cow gives no milk. A Black hen lays no eggs. Bad news comes bordered in Black. Black is evil and evil is Black and food is Black. What should I tell my dear ones raised in the white world? A place where white has been made to represent in all that is good and pure and fine and decent. The clouds are white and dolls in heaven surely is a white place with angels robed in white and cotton candy and ice cream and milk and ruffled Sunday dresses and dream houses and long sweet Cadillacs and angels' food is white. All white. What can I say, therefore, when my child comes home in tears because a playmate has called him Black, big-lipped, flat-nosed, and nappy-headed? What will he think when I dry his tears, whispers, yes, it's true, but no less beautiful and dear? How shall I get him to square his shoulders, look the series in the eye, with confidence of the knowledge of his worth, serene under his sable skin, and proud of his known natural beauty? What can I do to give him strength that he may come through life's adversaries as a whole human being unwarped, the human in the world of bias, laws, and inhuman practices that he might survive? And survive he must, for who knows? Perhaps this Black child bears the genius to discover the cure for cancer, or to chart the course for exploration of the universe. And so he must survive for all good of humanity. He must and will survive. I have drunk deeply of late from the foundation of my Black culture, sat there, learned from Mother Africa, discovered the truth, my heritage, so often obscure and omitted. I have so much to say to my Black children. I will lift their heads up in proud Blackness with their story of their fathers and their fathers' fathers. And I'll take them back into a way back time of the kings and kings who ruled the Nile and measured the stars and discovered the laws of mathematics upon those whose backs have been built on the well continent. I will tell him this and more, and his heritage shall be his weapon and armor. It will make him strong enough to win any battle he may face. And since the story is often absurd, I must sacrifice to find it, even as I sacrifice to feed, clothe, and shelter them. So this I will do for them. If I love them, none will do it for me. I must find the truth of my heritage for myself and pass it on to them. In years to come, I believe I've armed them with my truth. My children will, and my children's children will vengerate me. For it's the truth that set us free.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Emilio. What shall I tell my children who are black? Right? Our blackness is our knowledge. It is also our weapon. Thank you, so much, Emilio. Awesome, awesome job. We're going to move ahead. And we're going to bring on Zahir again, who's going to read for us If We Must Die by Claude McKay. Claude McKay was also a New York resident and partly a Chicago resident, originally from Jamaica. He was also a novelist and a writer. He wrote 5 books. He was a key figure in the Harlem Renaissance. His works reflect the peasant life of rural Jamaica, and he's also his work also reflects his stance on anti-racism and the inequalities that exist in American society. Mr. Hobson, if there's anything you'd like to throw in, please.
Oh, Claude McKay is a very, very, very interesting immigrant, African immigrant for the United States of America. When he left Jamaica, it was because of his first book, Songs of Jamaica, where he received an award from the Jamaican Institute of Arts and Sciences. He landed in South Carolina when he first got here. Then he moved to Alabama and attended Tuskegee Institute. Then he transferred to Kansas State College before he moved to New York and joined the Harlem Renaissance. So he knows the Deep South and he knows the North. And he knows racism throughout America. And so his poems always reflected the experiences that he was fortunate to experience in his history in life.
Thank you, Mr. Hobson. Claude McKay was also the winner of the Harmon Gold Award for Literature, among many, many, many awards. So, If We Must Die by Claude McKay, read by Zahir Mbeng. Zahir, take it away. Zahir.
Oh, sorry. Today I'll be reading If We Must Die by Claude McKay. If we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and pinned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us, though dead. O kinsmen, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and for their thousands blow, deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men will face the murderously cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying but fighting back.
Thank you. If We Must Die by Claude McKay. Thank you for reading, Zahir. We're going to move ahead and we're going to bring on Erin Peterson. Erin is going to read for us a poem by Lucille Clifton, one of our greatest African-American poets, also a writer and an educator. She was a professor as well. She hails to us from New York. She is the Poet Laureate of the state of Maryland, and she was discovered as a young lady and a poet by the great Langston Hughes. And Lucille Clifton also lived up to that expectation of becoming a great and wonderful poet. Over to you, Mr. Hobson.
And let's not forget that Lucille Clifton won the prestigious National Book Award for Blessing the Boats, New and Selected Poems between 1988 and 2000.
Thank you. So, Erin, take it away.
Here are the poems you never wrote. Here are the plants you never grew. All that I am for him. All that I do for you. Dear, I have sent you your boxes promised and hope you like it all. I put in tuna fish because you like it. Keep your room clean and we are all right. Only I misses you so much. My baby, don't fall in love with no stranger. Right when you have time and be a good girlfriend, mama. Dear, it was a nice day today. Hills is pretty nice this time of year, though maybe not like DC. Everybody been so nice to me since you've been gone. Everybody said they will pray for you to get good grades and everything. I will close now as I am tired. Right when you get time, you buried your uncle this morning. And be a good girl, mama. Playing as a baby, my mama would sit in the chair by the window where she started dying and watch the weekends off full of china and hum. Take my hand, oh precious Lord, my mama sang.
Thank you, Erin. So we have, a mix of emotions. We have had, the happy. We have had the melancholy. They are all part of the spectrum. So awesome reading from Erin. We're gonna continue. We're bringing on Lucy Clifton again. Again, she was a prolific and widely respected writer. Her work emphasizes endurance and strength through adversity. She wrote many children's books. She won the award Ruth Lilly Poetry Prize. She's known for saying a whole lot, but with very few words. So to join us is Renaya Thomas, who's going to read for us, Won't You Celebrate With Me? And I'm going to put this in a form of a question. Won't you celebrate Black History Month with us? Take it away, Renaya.
Won't you celebrate with me? What I have shaped into a kind of life. I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and women. What did I see to accept myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me, that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Come celebrate with me from Lucille Clifton. We're going to move ahead. We're getting to the end. And we're going to now read a poem from TAETSO MAKUTU, who hails to us from South Africa. And I am going to do that at this particular time. So let's begin. I am an African. I am an African. My skin is black. My hair is black. I am black. I take pride in my blackness, for my color is not a badge of shame, but an identity. Yes, black is my identity. Africa is my identity. I am the son of the black soil, a soil rich in history and blessed with diverse cultures, each unique in her own way. I am an African. Africa, a nation of the oppressed, but slowly rising to conquer and claim what is theirs from the oppressors. Yes, the sleeping sons of Africa are rising, slowly realizing their potential as a nation. Yes, my fellow Africans are rising. The Black nation is on its knees. I'm a proud African. Africa, my roots. Africa, my identity. Africa, my ancestral land. Africa, my home. Africa is who I am. I am an African. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. This brings us to the end of our presentation this morning. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. Once again, I want to thank the administration for giving us this opportunity to host this event. I want to thank the middle school team, and I also want to sincerely thank everyone of you students who read poetry for us this morning. You all did an awesome, awesome job. Mr. Hobson, if there's anything you would like to throw in, please do so.
Yes, I am extremely proud of our middle school students. They jumped up and they raised their hands and they volunteered and they were courageous to read before their peers, and they deserve all the praise today. Congratulations, middle school students, and happy Black History Month.
Yes, happy Black History Month. We celebrate Black History 24/7, 365 days a year. Yeah, Bo. Over to you, Ms. Konibaji or Ms. Harris.
Hi, Dr. Wade. Awesome job. I
Sorry.
think you might have to stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Yeah, sorry.
And I was actually on mute. I'm sorry. I started speaking and I was on mute. Thank you, middle school team. Thank you, middle school students, for performing the poetry today. It was definitely enlightening. And it centered me to move forward with my day, hearing such poems from very strong artists. So thank you all so much for that. We are going to end our assembly here. At 10:15, we do want to return to our next scheduled class. And then I'm also gonna let Ms. Harris share a few words.
Sure, thank you so much. I just want to reiterate or also just echo what Ms. Kunibade said. Awesome job, middle school team. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Dr. Wadier, Mr. Hobson, Mrs. Parker, and all of the students present who read. I think we had a total of 18 poems today. 18 powerful poems that sort of speak to the experience of Blackness in America and abroad. And so thank you. And like we've said, Black history is history. It's everybody's history. It's our history. And we celebrate it each and every day, right? Not just for the month, but also thank you for grounding us in the history and giving us such wonderful information about each of the poets. I really appreciated that. And so we began the assembly with an affirmation, right? With our student affirmation. And because I was inspired, is it okay if we end with an affirmation? Would that be okay? It's a poem actually by Assata Shakur. I'm not claiming, but it's called Affirmation. So I thought it would be appropriate. Is that okay with you? I'm not a poet, but I'm just gonna try this and read it. Is that all right? Out of my comfort zone a little bit. So this is Affirmation by Assata Shakur, and this will close us out. He writes, I believe in living. I believe in the spectrum of beta days and gamma people. I believe in sunshine, in windmills, in waterfalls, tricycles, in rocking chairs. And I believe that seeds grow into sprouts, and sprouts grow into trees. I believe in the magic of the hands and in the wisdom of the eyes. I believe in rain and tears and in the blood of infinity. I believe in life, and I have seen the death parade march through the torso of the earth, sculpting mud bodies in its path. I have seen the destruction of the daylight and seen bloodthirsty maggots prayed to and saluted. I have seen kind become the blind and the blind become the bind in one easy lesson. I have walked on cut glass. I have eaten crow and blunder bread and breathed the stench of indifference. I have been locked by the lawless, handcuffed by the haters, gagged by the greedy. And if I know anything at all, it's that a wall is just a wall and nothing more at all. It can be broken down. I believe in living. I believe in birth. I believe in the sweat of love and in the fire of truth. And I believe that a lost ship steered by tired, seasick sailors can still be guided home to port. I believe in you all. You will continue to guide us to port. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Ms. Harris. Thank you for that. Really quickly, we will have our assembly next Friday. We will have an all-school assembly. Yay, Bo, yes, to you all. We're honoring and celebrating POJs along with, so those are our Pillar of Justice recipients, along with honor roll students. So we'll be able to acknowledge each and every one of you for your achievement, along with your work that you're doing along and demonstrating our pillars of justice. So shout out to you all. Also on Monday of next Monday, we will have our 100th day celebration for our kindergarten through third grade students. So we are looking forward to celebrating 100th day of learning, virtual learning with you all. And we're gonna end our assembly with that. Goodbye, VLA. See you at 10:15 in your next class.